Welcome back to another video. My name is Abby and today we're talking about the law of assumption and jealousy. Now, if you like videos like this and you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit subscribe right now. Click the bell. It'll let you know when new videos come out. And if you really like this video, you want to support this channel, an easy way to do it is hit that little like button below. It really helps to spread this information. So back to the video, the law of assumption and jealousy. In case you're not completely familiar with the law of assumption, what that is basically it comes from Neville Goddard, one of his big principles, and it is anything that you right now give permission and consent to be true about your life. Now realize this is not objectively true, meaning that it is not true that you're in this limitation. But since you are giving this assumption that whatever it is, whether it be about a relationship, maybe you feel that you're not lovable, you have the assumption that you're not lovable, so you give that permission and consent to be true, to rule your life, and therefore you move through the world and that's what you find. This can also happen with money. This can happen with jobs. You go and apply for this job, you don't feel valuable, you don't feel worthy to receive that certain amount of salary, so you have an assumption that you are not valuable, that you're not worthy of that. So you move through the world and you give that permission and consent to be true, and basically you find these circumstances that echo back to you, that reflect back to you that which you are looking for. And this is called confirmation bias. You have something inside of you called your cybernetic mechanism, a psycho-cybernetic mechanism really. And that is a fancy way to say basically you have an image of yourself. You have a set point of all the things that you think you are regarding relationships, regarding money, regarding career, a way that you see yourself that basically is everything about you, and it's consisting of assumptions. How you see yourself in relationships, how you see yourself in the world, what you think you're worthy of, and when it comes to money and when it comes to jobs and your career. So inside that set point, all around that is different assumptions that basically are like concrete. They are fortifying this set point. Because again, all an assumption is in the law of assumption is something that you've given permission and consent to be true. You look through the lens of that assumption and you find that. And why is that? Why, if you don't want to be in lack, why, if you want that romantic relationship, do you keep seeing in the world that which you don't want to see? Well, one of the reasons is your RAS, your reticular activating system, actually is programmed with these assumptions, which you can say also is deep in your subconscious programs. And those were basically, they can either be inherited epigenetically, literally in your genes, whatever it is that your family went through. And this comes more from an evolutionary standpoint of, if something traumatic happened to your grandfather or grandmother, well, a long time ago, if a lion jumped out and you knew that growl was associated with your life being in danger, when you hear that sound again, your body's going to respond. So things like this have happened to benefit your evolution and to help you in the world. But basically what happens if we don't really identify those and go into them, that dangerous thing isn't actually putting us in danger, but that automatic response from our bodies is causing us to live in that stressful state. And according to Dr. Joe Dispenza, that stressful state is no place to create because you're using all your resources to survive. And only when you come into that lower brainwave, which we have different brainwaves, and right now you and I are operating on beta brainwave. There can be high beta, which is complete erratic. You're stressed out, you're running late, you're in traffic, you're forcing it. Your heart's rhythm is going to be very chaotic. Most likely you're going to be in a state of worry, anxiety. Those are lower levels of consciousness, which is going to actually be at a high level brainwave. So that's in the worst case, that's high beta. We're in beta, then there's alpha, and then there's theta. So basically, when you were little, you were in theta brainwave. So that means is basically it is the language of the subconscious mind. So when you were little, between the last trimester of your biological mother and 7 years old, this is the second way in that you are programmed on this set point. Everything that you took on, you're basically a giant sponge and you're looking to see how to be a human in the world. How does your family act? How do the people around you act? What is your authority figure? How do they treat you? How do they talk to you? How do teachers treat you? on and on and on and on. There's all these different aspects on how you came to be understanding of how to be a human in this world. So obviously, if there was an unhealthy or dysfunctional dynamic that you took on thinking that that is the healthy way to operate in this world, you are living off of that, potentially a low value about yourself, and then you find that reflected in the world through relationships or careers or a lack of money. Because again, confirmation bias, you're going to look out and you're going to find that. So that is basically the fundamentals of the law of assumption and how they fortify your set point. So where does jealousy involve itself in this? Well, I did another video about jealousy and envy specifically to give more understanding about this, because I feel that so many people live in a state of jealousy and envy and are totally unconscious of it, totally unaware of it. Why? Why do I know that? Because I actually was living in that state. I'd scroll through social media and look at these different people and I'd put them down or think that's not great. Oh, what is this person? And have this irritation. Really, underneath that all was a lack of confidence and an insecurity. So I needed to make that person worse or not that great so that I didn't feel bad. And really, when I realized I didn't have to live in that dynamic, I didn't have to make somebody bad or not that great so I could feel good about myself, I could start fortifying my own security and my own self-worth apart from anybody or anything outside of me. And when I did that, I had the ability to celebrate what other people were doing, which actually gave me more strength because it validated the things that I want to do and help empower me by realizing, wow, I have the power and the strength and the talent to do the things that they do. And I see that they've done it. And now I know that I can do it too. So that's basically a great way to show the law of assumption working for me. The law of assumption is always working. The only thing you need to ask yourself, is it helping take you to your goals or keeping you away from your goals? And then what I wanted to talk specifically, like I mentioned, is jealousy. So why is jealousy so important and so critical when it comes to the law of assumption? Well, jealousy basically, deep fundamentally, it's about afraid of being left, afraid of being abandoned. And that can look like a lot of different things. But for me specifically, it came out more in relationships. So underneath that, even though I had this big ego and I looked really secure on the outside, it was basically a giant rock of ego on top of my insecurity. Now, why does this matter in terms of law of assumption? And really, why does this matter when you're trying to use the law of assumption to live in the end? Well, if you are fundamentally, deep unconsciously thinking and ultimately feeling thoughts of being left and of being abandoned, which are going to make you act suspicious and want to make you possess and control. Well, remember that on an electromagnetic level, according to Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, which is the thoughts of the electrical and the magnetic part, the attraction part is the heart and how you're feeling. If deep unconsciously you're feeling possessive and controlling, that is coming from a place of lack. So that means deep unconsciously you're sending out lack. You're sending out that signature to the quantum field that you're not that worthy, that you don't have that much. So ultimately, you're going to pull back because you feel lack. You're being jealous because underneath it, you're insecure. You're trying to possess. You're trying to control. So you continually define situations, people, and circumstances that are going to reflect back to you for confirmation bias that you are not valuable. It's not because it's true. It's because that's what you're sending out. As you see that any sign of jealousy, and underneath that, underneath jealousy is envy, and envy is all about comparison. It's all about that somebody else has an advantage that you don't have. And as you start to see, oh, okay, this is a signal. This is a signal for me to go in and look and see what laws of assumption I have about myself. Do I assume that I'm not that great so that when I see somebody do something really good, I automatically say, I can't do that because I assume that I'm not that great? Use that feedback from that envy. Don't use your resources to go out and continually get more envious, continue to control, to continue to compare, and then try to cut them down so you feel better about yourself. Use that envy or that jealousy as a way to go inside. What is it that you're afraid of? If you have a romantic partner right now, they're spending time with friends, or maybe there's somebody new at work and you feel a surge of, hey, I don't know, are they going to leave me? You know exactly how that feels when you get jealous. Rather than looking at their behavior and what they're doing, use this as a way to go inside. Okay, what is it that I'm afraid of? Automatically, as soon as you're jealous, You know that you're afraid of something. You're afraid of losing them. You're afraid of being alone, something to that degree. Now, people often say that there's healthy forms of jealousy. The only healthy form of jealousy, in my opinion, is to use that energy of jealousy to go inside, to do the work on yourself so that you are whole and complete without anybody else. That doesn't mean that if something bumping comes along in your relationship, you shove that person away and say, I am independent and I don't need you. It's about interdependence, being whole and complete on your own, not needing the relationship, but choosing it, not needing the job to show you what you're worth or to validate you, but having it as an expression of what you truly believe about yourself. I do not believe that there is any form of healthy jealousy, because at the fundamentals of jealousy is you being afraid you're going to be left. And as long as you're acting from a place of lack, from a place of fear, on that scale of Dr. David Hawkins, fear, worry, those are low levels. Those are security. Those are survival levels of consciousness. How can you ever be able to create the life that you want to live, use the law of assumption, ultimately live in the end that wish fulfilled that you want, if you're living from a place of lack? Those things do not line up, not only on the consciousness level, but also on a metaphysical level. You will continue to draw experiences that will continue making you feel insecure and like you might be abandoned. It's going to keep you in jealousy. And jealousy is literally a state of living hell. From my personal experience, it is no place to live. It caused me to not be able to sleep at night, caused me to not enjoy my life and the people I was around because I was thinking about something else. Because ultimately, at a deep level, I was getting triggered from a pre-existing injury, a wound of abandonment. So once I went back and reasoned on some things as a child, and once I saw that dynamic that was playing out in my adult relationships, in that circumstances, me not getting that opportunity, and feeling envious of somebody else, realizing, oh, okay, I am not feeling worthy. I am feeling not good enough. Where did that come from? Why am I feeling like this? So the way that jealousy, it can help you find unconsciously right now assumptions that you have about yourself. And as you reason on them and shift them, you're going to give yourself permission and consent to live in a bigger capacity of you. Have a larger intention, which is basically reshifting your attention towards that goal that you want, towards that wish fulfilled. So again, you're going to use envy, you're going to use jealousy as a way to show you the aspects of yourself that are not at the level, to heal them, to bring them to that higher level of consciousness, so that you can then live in a state of creation, which is the present moment, to cut the cords of yesterday and your past, heal them, allow yourself to be here now, and to be defined by a vision of your future. You deserve to have that wish fulfilled. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, hit subscribe. If you haven't done so already, like this video, and I'll see you on the next one.